to everyone present here tonight in Malaysia. My name is Suyu and I will be your host for tonight. On behalf of the JPO family, we'd like to extend a warm welcome to everyone tuning in for tonight's broadcast. We hope that everyone is doing well and staying safe indoors. A friendly reminder to maintain good hygiene at all times and maintain social distancing when heading out, as we'd like to continue improving your experience with us. To the audience who are in Zoom, please help us achieve this by completing the poll that will be published during this broadcast. To anyone who is interested in sharing tonight's broadcast, a live feed is being shared on the JPO YouTube channel. Do like and subscribe the channel so you can receive live notifications. If you have any questions you'd like to ask, please feel free to type them out in the Q&A section down below in Zoom and in the chat box in YouTube. A recording of the webinar will also be uploaded onto the channel later on. Highly sought after his versatile and soulful playing, Italian cellist Sebastiano Severi is in high demand throughout Europe and beyond as a chamber musician, orchestra leader, recitalist, and pedagogue on both modern and historical instruments. In recent seasons, Severi has dedicated particular attention to Baroque and 20th century repertoire, appearing at some of the most important festivals and concert halls in Europe, including the Venice Music Festival, the Utrecht Early Music Festival, the Edinburgh Festival, the Stuttgart Forum Neues Music Theater, the Theater des Champs-Élysées, the Teatro alla Scala, and the Festival Nuova Consonanza. He performs regularly as the principal cellist of several notable Italian ensembles, including the Pisa-based Early Music Ensemble, the Hause Musici, the Filarmonica Gioacchino Rossini, the Orchestra Bruno Maderna, and the Bologna-based contemporary music ensemble Fontana Mix. Since 2011, he has been the cellist of the Atre Trio. Severi is also a member of the acclaimed Lugano-based Baroque ensemble, one Barocchisti. He has recorded for the Sony, Decca, and Glossa labels with artists including Cecilia Bartoli, Philip Jarowski, and Sara Mingardi. Severi is professor of Baroque cello at the Conservatorio di Cesena, where he joined an illustrious early music faculty of internationally renowned musicians in 2018. He is also on the cello faculty of the Istituto di Cultura Musicale Arcangelo Corelli. From 2013 to 2016, he taught modern cello at the Liceo Musicale Statale di Forlì. Born in Cesena, Italy in 1975, Sebastiano Severi began his music studies at 7 years old with the famed cello master Lionel Godoli. He later moved to the United Kingdom, where he pursued private studies with cellist Sharon McKinley, while completing his academic studies at the prestigious United World College of the Atlantic. In 1995, he was awarded the first prize at the Dino Caravita competition. In 1997, Severi was awarded the coveted cellist diploma from the Royal Philharmonic Academy of Bologna. Entrance to the very selective academy, a sort of exclusive musician's gold, holds massive historical significance, as Corelli, Mozart, Paganini, and Rossini were all members. Severi earned his Bachelor of Music degree at the Conservatorio Verdi di Milano under the guidance of Master Rocco Filippini, and later earned his Master of Music degree with the highest honors in Baroque cello under the guidance of Mauro Valli. He plays an anonymous Italian Baroque cello from the first half of the 18th century and a modern cello from the 1897 crafted by the Custori Marcucci. Tonight's interview features Sebastiano Severi with his topic about music, a force that connects us. As our JPO family attendees are mostly students ranging from primary school to college, their parents and their teachers, the sharing of knowledge and advice you have for all of us is invaluable and greatly appreciated. The JPO is very honored to have Sebastiano Severi joining in as our guest for tonight. I hope that you will all join me in giving him a warm welcome. Welcome, Professor Severi.
Welcome to everybody. It's so nice and I feel honored to be here today. Thank you to Mr. Yap for having invited me to join this amazing opportunity that connect. I'm in Italy at the moment, and people from mainly Malaysia, but all over the world are joining in. And so here again, music as a force of connecting people around the globe. It comes as a true statement.
Yes, thank you, Professor. So without further ado, once again, a very warm welcome and thank you so much for joining us today. To start off today's interview, what can you tell us about the 3 videos we had just watched?
Yes, as you noticed, I've chosen 3 unusual videos for a musician, as in none of them was filmed in a concert hall or a theater or a concert venue at all. So the first one was a Boismartier trio sonata from some music from the mid 1700s, and it was performed in the garden of the harpsichord player. And that was meant to be a virtual concert for the members of a summer course that was held online, as we all suffered during this year of the pandemic situation caused by COVID. But that didn't stop us to make music what we love in life, and to make it even in a garden. You could even, if some of you might have heard, like a lorry that passed through a not far away road, that didn't really disturb what was going on, and that was making music for somebody on the other end to be able to enjoy it. And the second video was a movement by a Barriere sonata originally written for 2 cellos, and that was me and my one of my teachers, my Baroque cello teacher, that was Mauro Valli, featured in the second video. And so I joined him during the summer at his place when it was allowed to meet, social distanced and so on. And we enjoyed making some music outside again. Nobody was there. We just recorded so that other people could enjoy it. This period has also given us the possibility of discovering new repertoire, in a sense. So the last video that was shooted in my living room with my partner, it's a Sibelius piece that he wrote when he was around 12 years old or even younger, but very, very early in his composing career. And it's named Water Droplets. It's just a few bars that we enjoyed presenting a few times with small variations. And that's a practice that comes both from early music and from, in a sense, pop music that or jazz music, as in to play around with the material and enrich it, embellish it, and maybe think of it as a possible new repertoire in our normal repertoire of the well-renowned composers and pieces, of the most famous pieces. So you have options. And this have been given, I think, from the COVID situation. If COVID wasn't there, maybe I wasn't here today. I wouldn't have been able to be here today to talk to you about music, right?
Yes, yes, yes. Yes, I've seen a lot of videos like people performing outside their house or just on the balcony or any places like during the lockdown, like because I was in I'm in UK now, so I've
Yes.
seen and I've saw a lot of videos posted online in Facebook or YouTube that people playing outside for all the people like from other houses. So I think it's a very good thing, and music, it's really enjoyable.
Yes, during March and April, we had this balcony music, in fact, music dal balcone. And I got all my pupils involved in that, and they really enjoyed. We decided to play the Ode to Joy by Beethoven, which is a simple tune. So even the smallest kids that just play the cello for, have been playing the cello for less than a year, could still perform it. And on their balcony, they did it, and they felt great. Like, I think they felt the same emotions as being in a concert hall, because they knew there was a public around them, either on the other side of the road, in the on top floor, on the bottom floor. Some of them did it on the stairways of their buildings instead of the balcony, you know. And some of them repeated it every, let's say, every Friday afternoon, or they and that created a sense of connection in the community, um, which I'm so grateful for. Yeah.
Yes, yes. This, yeah, this really shows that your topic, like how music is a force that connects us. So, can you tell us where did you grow up from and what sparked your interest in playing music?
Oh yes. Well, I was born in Cesena. That was it's a small town in the center of Italy, almost a rural area. And I started playing the cello at age 6. I had an exposure to piano at age 5. But then I met this old cello teacher that was almost like a grandfather. And it made me play around a couple of times with the cello, and I started, I really was enjoying it a lot. You can see in the picture here, I'm on the terrace some years back with my father, who's a guitar player. Um, After the concert I had given with an orchestra, I went back home, and we were enjoying having music together during the night to watch Under the Moon. So yeah, I think what sparked my interest in playing music is really my having been exposed at a very early age to it through my father, first of all, and through the friends who came to play music at home. Yeah. So yeah, chamber music, I would say that was a main exposure. Yeah.
Okay. So, can you tell us what are some of your favorite early musical memories and what made you decide to pursue your music professionally?
Yeah, I think once again, playing together. First of all, with my father.
Mhm.
Second of all, I had the luck of meeting my first cello teacher, who um, um, had established a cello ensemble with all the students of all ages. So it was about 20 of us. And what happened was that we were playing four parts music, right? And usually the first line was for the more advanced students, and coming down to the fourth part, where that was a simple line that younger student could learn. So with age and with experience, you could basically pass from the fourth line to the third line, second line, and first line. And while and that gave a sense of um, you were learning the instrument to be able to enjoy it together with your classmates, even though of different age. That didn't really matter. And then during the years, some of the earlier students had become professional musicians, and they would come back maybe once or twice or a few times a year to join the ensemble from their own orchestras to have fun together. I thought that was a great teaching, and it's something I'm trying to do it with my pupils as well, and also with my colleagues, not only with pupils. Yeah. So early music, the early exposure to music gave me this opportunity to understand how music is a power of connecting with others.
Yes, yes, I can understand what you feel about it, because although I'm not a professional musician, but I played instruments. I played a double bass while I was in high school, so I can understand how, like, learning together as a group and exchanging opinions, and the seniors, our teacher, teaching us, like, and how we do our activities, our exercise together. So yes, it's a really a really happy thing, and, like, it's a very memorable time during. Yeah.
Yeah, of course, the decision comes with time. I mean, I didn't decide at 6 that I would become a professional musician. Of course, the decision came later on in life after high school, and I was lucky enough to attend an international high school in Wales, United World College of the Atlantic, and there I was studying biology, world religions, English, Italian, mathematics, and music. And music was a, a wide it gave a wide look at not only I wasn't only practicing the cello, but we had orchestral session, chamber music session. We had part of ethnomusicology, studying the music of the pygmies of Central Africa, for example, or studying the Japanese no theater, or studying the music of the Kwakiutl Indians, North American Indians of close to Canada. And we had to do composition. We had to produce 3 compositions and I even went on for a while to study composition. But then I decided what I really wanted was to play the cello. Luckily enough, there I met uh, Catherine McIntosh, who is a Renaissance early music, let's say, violin player. And she said, "Why don't you try the Baroque cello?" And she gave me a Baroque cello, and I tried, and I started Baroque cello. That's the way it all started. So it's amazing, just you are in a different part of the world, and through a musical instrument, through a connection with somebody, your life might change, really.
Yes,
Right.
yes,
So I
yes,
left biology, I left world religions. I didn't follow anymore those aspects of learning, and I concentrated on the cello. So when I came back to Italy, again, I dedicated myself to the cello full time. Yeah.
yeah. Thank you. And the third question here I have is, you have a very diverse performing career, like, as you mentioned, Baroque and the 20th century. So, between playing an extremely wide range of music and a diverse array of music activities, is there a thread that holds all these different activities together in your brain and being? Like, how do you manage and balance both of different styles and music?
Um, well, what I love is being able, I think, through my cello playing, to capture all the possible nuances that I'm offered when you meet colleagues, you meet composers, you meet cultures even, and different experiences and different traditions, because we, as musicians, we end up traveling a lot, um, because the concert venues are not where you live, right? And
Yes.
because with the orchestra you might be touring. I was lucky to I joined the International Orchestra of Italy for about 10 years, and we toured all Southeast Asia. We even came to Malaysia a couple of times, in Kuala Lumpur, to perform concerts. I have great memories about it. We do Macau, Hong Kong, China, and so on. Last time I was in China was with La Scala Orchestra in October, just before the COVID pandemic started, and we were all also a little worried about it. Just to name the fact that musicians do travel a lot and connect to other colleagues, but also to food, for example, to costumes and different traditions. Mm, I don't want to miss the answer. So how do you?
So how do you manage like to balance both?
Well, I think there's so much to learn, and my aim is to learn and give back to my pupils. So it's like a way of transferring the your experience, your knowledge. Uh, it's I think it's a mission. Yeah, the musician's mission is not only to perform music, but to be able to transfer this good energy that comes uh, through music to the other human beings, let them be colleagues, students, or audience. It doesn't really matter. The main aim is to transfer this good energy that talks about beauty in the world. About, yeah, that's, I hope it's not philosophical, okay?
Yeah, it's all right. And how about this picture here? Like, can you tell us some of the gongs and where was this taken?
This was one of the last concerts that was given in Bologna
Mhm.
from the contemporary music ensemble Fontana Mix, where I play the cello since about 15 years now. You can see that in that picture, I have one cello on the floor, which is my modern cello, and I'm playing a Baroque cello. Now, what is a Baroque cello doing in a contemporary music ensemble? You know, and that's easy to understand. We were performing a piece by Sciarrino, a leading composer, that wrote an homage to Gesualdo da Venosa, a very early Italian composer. So he just took his notes and added uh, a, yeah, and wrote a contemporary piece. That's okay. We had an idea to use period instruments, so they are mounted in gut strings with a baroque bow, so to so they produce a different sound from the modern instrument. And the composers were actually happy of this possibility to listen to his contemporary music that was based on a very ancient music to be played with the instrument that the original composer had at that time. So again, it shows a connection, between two different eras, like 300 years away. The sound of 300 years back, it's produced by the period instrument,
Mhm.
but with the music written from a contemporary living composer. And on stage, you can actually see the time gongs, some other bells, some other modern instruments, because in the same program we had a piece by a German composer, Haas, and a British composer, Benjamin, with you putting together all these different instruments. So we have an oboe, flute, a cello, violin, bass, clarinet, violin, piano, percussions, unusual percussions from all over the world. Uh, that's what I mean with power of connection, right? Force of connecting different colors,
Yes.
sounds, different imagination.
Okay. Thank you for letting us know, like, from different instruments and different period, and how, yes, how does it sound, and just like what you said, to you told us about how the difference is. So in addition to your performance career, you are also a passionate educator, as I know, and giving and organizing master classes around the world, in addition to holding teaching positions at the conservatory in Cesena, Italy, where you are professor of Baroque cello, and at the Istituto Corelli for pre-college age students, where you teach modern cello. So can you tell us a bit about your role at each of the institution you're involved with?
Yeah, I'm lucky. I at the Conservatory of Music, I'm teaching Baroque cello together with a phenomenal early music department, teachers from amazing teachers. And what I found what I find amazing is that in the Conservatory of Music, on top of giving individual lessons, we organize workshops and concert productions that involves both teachers and students playing together. So you have, in this way, you have um, professionals, that usually tour around the world, playing in the
Mhm.
same event with students that are on their learning process, and the exchange, it's so powerful. It adds so much more to an individual lesson.
Yeah.
So that, of course, during COVID time is not so easy so we had to plan things or postpone most of them. But that's regarding the conservatory. Regarding the Istituto Corelli, which is the local school for younger students, where students start to learn the cello, I what I do there is we start with singing. Okay, we start with singing, solfege, ear training, and as soon as they are able to play a few notes, I introduce them to chamber music. So to have the delight of playing with somebody else. So we start with cello duets between the teacher and the student, and then between some of the students, and then we enlarge a group. In the picture you actually see at the moment, that was about 80 cello players. It was a gathering the of our province, basically, three different provinces, with all music teachers from all the cello schools in the area. Their pupils, but also some ex-pupils that have, that maybe in the meantime they've changed job. They're not professional musicians. Some of them are still amateur musicians. You can see next to me is sitting the leader of the orchestra La Scala, that agreed to come, the first cello of the main orchestra in Italy, in Milan. And he agreed to come down and play with the kids and the teachers and the pupils in this public concert. And he was playing contemporary music that was written specifically for the group. So I had three young composers to write music for a group of students, so in the first row, you can see kids about 6 to 10 years old. They can only play in first position, and the composer had to keep that in mind. That one line of the piece was specifically thought for this group of students, and it was amazing for the kids to be able to play with the top musicians in Italy we have, and it was amazing also for that guy to see how much involvement and connection and emotion this group of people, even though some of them were at the very beginning, gave back to him. And he said he really enjoyed it as much as a concert in the theater. Yeah. I did it, all the organizing, of course. It takes that's what I refer to as what role I have in this institution. So I organize it, and I'm extremely satisfied. So we do,
Yes.
and I hope to do more of it.
Yep. And it's really good that professionals, they are like really keen to come down and play with the students, the young students, because I think it's a very encouraged thing. Like when students starting from like a lower grade, when they play with professionals, like for me, if I meet professionals or I play with them, it feels I feel very excited and encouraging because I can play with someone who is like in such a high level, and it really encourage and makes me, or makes other, I think makes other students who go and will go forward and keep going on, like practicing, working on what instruments they're playing. It's really, I think this is a really good thing that you've done and like arranged, just like our JPO Music Festival um during December. Yeah, the 3 days. Like before, we had practices. Like there's professionals, there's students, and they come together and we exchange, and other people, like some of the teachers or professionals, they provide opinions and like some techniques to the students. And I think, yes, this is how music, it connects everyone and teaches. And although during this pandemic we cannot like face to face do everything face to face, but there's the technology there. So can you tell us like what has changed from your previous approach, like to teach? Is there any changes?
Yeah, of course, it's been a very, very challenging time, no? Yeah, because, for example, with young students that may not even be able to tune their own instrument, and at times the instrument does need tuning, right?
Yes.
So it was good fun to try to teach through the video to either a parent or a or a brother or a sister, or even a grandparent, how to teach them to deal with the cello, you know.
Yes.
Well, I would say that more or less we managed that aspect. And then I realized that not being in the same room, producing sound, being in front of each other, for the young student in particular, what was needed, it was to give them to work on imagination. So to be, if I was able to transfer a concept by imagination, I used a lot singing, for example, as singing, and ask them to sing what they needed to play first of all, because that was surely, um, of course, I do that in class, but I think I stressed on that aspect a lot more through the video to make sure that what they produced with the instrument corresponded to what they had imagined in their perception. Okay, so
Yeah.
and I had to like use my hands in a close-up picture like the one I'm showing you, like close position, large position, instead of the instrument, because the video otherwise can't show you the details from far away, right?
Mhm.
So I use the pencil as the bow, and to show how much bow and so on. That was a good fun solution found through this
Yeah.
condition. Yeah.
All right. So, in general, what has this past year been like for you as a musician because of the pandemic?
Um,
Have you found like any ways to stay connected and active?
yeah. I think participating to different experiments involving, video, putting together video recordings, audio recording, even working with composers from through the video. For example, a group of composers wrote a series of miniatures that are like 1 or 2 minutes long for solo instruments instead of writing pieces for the ensemble, so that keeping in mind that it could be performed live, but it could also be had to be video recorded because of the uncertainty of lockdown. Yes, lockdown. No, how long will it last? We don't know yet, and so on. So there are that I think has given people different looks at different possibilities and exploring different possibilities. For example, during the summer, I'm also co-artistic director of Brisighella Summer Music Academy. That usually is a course with an international faculty, a music summer camp, so to speak. But it has we had to replan it so to be able to be held online. What happened? We had people from Chile, from
Mm,
Kosovo, from United States, from England, from Italy. That would not have been possible with the traveling restrictions. Even if we decided to have it in a period where there was no restriction, still, economically speaking, you had cut down all the traveling costs and lodging and hotel and so on. So that gave the possibility to people with even people with low economic income to attend a very high level summer course. That I think has been one great aspect of it is even ecologically sustainable because you cut all the flights that way, right? And what we understood, it was also important to give, for example, yoga classes because of so much time spent in front of a computer during the day or of a video. It gives pains in the back and you
yes.
need other activities. And also what would have been missing is the social gathering that usually you have at a summer camp. So we decided to give recipes from all different countries. So each day people could cook a recipe in different parts of the world, but the same recipe, and then maybe talk about it in a virtual gathering, like a virtual afternoon tea online. The same way we organized virtual concerts, and that also connected. The audience could be some in Norway, some in France, some all over the place,
Mhm.
listening to, or even the grandparents could listen to the niece or nephew through a Zoom link, even though they could not see each other because of the restrictions. So that I think shows again the power of music as connecting people, um, and the power of music as a human, yeah, as a boosting energy. Yes,
Yeah.
that we can
Yes.
share and have in common, regardless of what language we speak, what faith we believe in, and what country we live in. Yes.
Yes. Yes. So, is there any very your most inspiring and optimistic moments in like during any your festival or during this pandemic, like while you're teaching or you've arranged any concerts or any master classes online. Can you tell us why?
Yes, I think I would say I just answer to this question through this Brisighella Music summer course.
Yeah.
And the why is because I've seen how positive impact on this young artist musical development it has had, and that has made me a really gives I think this is what's the most inspiring and optimistic moment of this period is to see the power that it has had on these young artists. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. So yeah, I found out that after COVID, technology, internet, and the Zoom link and everything, it's really, really useful for, I think, not only different people from other fields, but and it really helped a lot of musicians to connect, really. And thank you for letting us know about how you did and how did it inspired people from maybe lower economics to join in the music festival. And the last, I have a last question from what I had here. Like, do you have any exciting projects coming on?
Yes, we are working on building a new virtual concert space, if I can call it that way, both in collaboration with contemporary music ensemble and composers, different artists. And if you like, you can stay tuned to the PSMA Facebook page, or I'll let you know later on if you like to follow. Sure, we'll keep in touch, right?
Yeah. All right. So there's one question. So from the JPO. So as you may have heard, the Jesselton Philharmonic Orchestra has involved itself in a variety of activities. On behalf of the JPO, we would like to ask your views on the JPO and its activities. So additionally, how would you suggest the JPO and its members further improve itself?
Well, from what I see, and I've heard about the JPO, you are doing a great job. I think other orchestras should also follow your example to start with. That's because that's a great example of giving the possibility to improve to the members of the community, as in exposing them to so many different artists around the world from all different kind of experiences, musical languages, different age groups, academics, and so on. So, what could I say? Listen to as much music as possible. If don't limit yourself to any genre of music. That's what I would say to to the members of the community. Um, Myself, I play from Baroque music to classical music to contemporary music to film soundtrack, even some pop music participation I've taken, and there is so much in common in uh, and one can be enriched by the other. One aspect can be always enriched or lead to new discoveries,
Yes, yes,
right?
yes. Thank you very much for telling us and suggesting us about how we should improve and what we've done. So we're moving on to the Q&A session now.
I'm ready.
So as you can see, like people from the webinar and from YouTube, you can type on the questions so we can answer. We can ask Miss
Okay.
Professor about what you're thinking of and what would you like to ask. So now there's someone who asked, what would you say is the greatest difference between the Baroque and modern cello in term of playing?
Well, I would say first of all is repertoire. Because with Baroque cello you basically play the Baroque repertoire. So you never go on playing romantic music in a sense, or even late romantic to contemporary music. The one main difference is the quality of sound. It's given that's caused by the gut strings. So there are strings made of animal gut, like the intestine of a goat or a sheep or a lamb, that are treated in a way to make them strings, and the bow. The Baroque bow, it's the precursor of the modern bow. It has a different sound production. It's more neat, it's sharp, and it gives a possibility for a higher range of articulation. Okay? So
Understand.
if I could use a metaphor, it's like speaking with a lot more consonances than vowels. Okay?
Yep. Hope this answer will hope this
There are other aspects, but I don't want to lose time in going too deep into technical details.
Yep, no problem. So I hope what Professor had said has answered the person's question here. So there is another question. So from anonymous, from someone. So it says, "Hi, Professor. Beside music, do we need someone or something to act as the mediator that connects the music and people from different culture backgrounds?"
I'm not so sure I understand completely the question. Besides music, do we need someone or something?
Someone or something like in the middle, like to help connect. Yeah.
What I was referring to is that music is a language that doesn't need to know any other language to be able to communicate, right? So even if I do not know Hindi, I can still play with an Indian player that does not speak my language. Even though I do not understand Arabic, I can still play with a with a with a Moroccan player, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So on. I don't think that no other mediator is needed for playing music together. Of course, for connecting, so connecting music and people, I think music it's enough. It doesn't require any extra effort apart from the love for music. We need to share love for music. Yes.
Yes, understand. So there's another one. So Professor Severi, do you think this virtual connection, this Zoom
Yes.
connection, and is going to stay even after the pandemic? So do you think that it's going to go on even after the pandemic is over?
Why not? As I said in earlier on, we are working like towards building a virtual concert mm, event or network. Let's call it a space. So why not? We have learned throughout this last year to use Zoom and to connect through this virtual connection, and we have gained so much experience in a sense, new experience. Um, we have learned how to deal with technological devices, like to microphones and cameras, and to make the best use of them. And yes, I actually hope it stays even after the pandemic, because it gives this kind of connection we are having today, makes it easier for people around the world to share and connect, right?
Yes.
Even
Yes.
though I'll never come to Malaysia again, or you never come to Europe again, we can still feel connected.
Yes. Yes.
And I think
It's a
that's
very
to this virtual means.
Yes, I under. It's very, yeah, it's very good that we can still connect through internet, through Zoom or any other spaces. So I'm very thank you to Professor Severi for your responses. So I would like to tell everyone that we're very sorry that we're coming to the end for tonight's broadcast. So we would like to remind everyone that our JPO family program will be broadcasted twice a week until further notice. Join us next time with our next guest as will be posted near the time. More details can be found on our Facebook page. A video recording of tonight's broadcast will also be available on the YouTube channel along with past webinars and the soon to be broadcasters interview. So feel free to share the Zoom webinar registration link, JPO YouTube channel, and the JPO Facebook page with your friends and family. For our YouTube audience, if you're enjoying our program, please show your support by pressing the like and subscribe button down below. You guys have been an amazing audience. We from the JPO family wishes that everyone stays safe and healthy as face this crisis together. So I will lead a prayer to end tonight's program. So please pray in whatever faith you believe in regarding the COVID-19 pandemic. We pray that everyone is staying strong during this pandemic and give us strength to overcome during this difficult times. We pray for the frontliners and those who must travel in and out from work, as God will provide protection and healthy bodies to fight this pandemic. I thank you, Lord, for everything you provide. In Jesus' name, amen. So thank you, a very, very thank you to Professor Severi for sharing with us tonight. And thank you everyone for joining us tonight. So I'll say a good night to everyone in Malaysia and see you all next time. Thank you very much.